It is time once again for us to take a long rest. Thank you once again for joining us for this episode of A Long Rest. This time we are in a small inn in the Tangle, kind of southwest of Fayport and a little bit northwest of North Peak. And this location is a very exclusive, very expensive inn. And the reason why is because it exists in two worlds. So when you enter into the Feywild Inn, from the Tangle side, you enter into a very nice-looking natural inn, but what's very odd about it is it's run by mostly animals and Fey. There aren't any real humanoids except for one main Fey innkeeper that goes by the name of Hummingbird. This individual pretty much takes care of everything to do with the inn, and you can never tell what they're going to look like, sound like, or be like any day. They tend to shift their look and everything around on a daily basis. The only thing that stays consistent is their extremely rapid pace of talk and their extremely quick, rushing around, darting manner. So they are very much like the Hummingbird. This inn has a total of 8 rooms, and it is extremely expensive to stay at, not because they charge so much for coin, but because they deal mostly in favors, secrets, and oddities. So you could be the most rich noble in the area, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can buy a room at this inn. So we are sitting inside the Feywild Inn, and I say sitting in very loose terms because the random characters that we both generated using tetra-cube.com, I rolled up Bane, a centaur druid, Circle of the Moon, and my background is anthropologist. I'm 49 years old, and so years ago, tragedy struck the members of an isolated society I befriended, and I will honor them. I complain about everything as one of my flaws, and my talent is I'm great at solving puzzles. My lovely co-host here once again is Braydon, clear from Australia. Thank you for flying in, as always.
Of course. I actually swam over this time, so, feeling a bit fatigued after the 5-year swim, but
something like that, yeah. Abs for days. Your abs start just below your neck and end about your knees. Nothing but abs.
I have rolled up Charistus, the centaur grave cleric who was previously a pirate. So the thing about her is that she served in a temple in the Outer Planes, so I'm not exactly sure what Outer Plane would suit a grave cleric, perhaps one of the neutral ones, or maybe we could say like the Shadowfell or something like that, very in line with your character in the Chaos Plan there, Bob. And maybe she served in the sort of castle of the Raven Queen and among the Shadowfire.
Fantastic.
But at the same time, I'm not exactly sure how she's a pirate. Maybe she's...
Space pirate. Floating through the planes.
Yep. Astral dreadnought of a woman.
Exactly. Oh, that is fantastic.
The best thing about her is that she enjoys a nice tavern brawl, so nothing to look forward to within this tavern here.
Oh my god, that is fantastic. The cleric from the outer space pirate cleric of the grave likes to punch people in bars. I like it. Never a dull moment with this one. That's why I stick around.
I gotta ask as well, would there be like will-o-wisps or pixies in little jars that are hanging from the ceiling as lights?
Oh, for sure. That is canon right now. That is fantastic. Yes, when the tiny fae get into trouble, they are locked up in these jars and they have to serve out their sentence in these little jars before they're released back to the Feywild.
Nothing belittles a pixie like making them a lantern for an extended time.
Exactly. And you can tell because the innkeeper, Hummingbird, every time they dart by them, they tink the glasses with their fingertips if the light starts getting too dull, to wake them up and to get them to shine brighter. All right, well, we're talking this long rest about a number of things. I decided that it has been long enough since we did kind of a state of the guild address that we're going to go ahead and do one of those, because there's been a bunch of changes that have happened in the recent past. We recently did a charity game. We've got a bunch of things coming up in the future to look forward to. We're making some changes within the guild, and a new project at the end that we want to take all of your money with. I mean, that we want you to enjoy and find inspiration in. So what we're going to kind of talk about from the beginning is the Chaos Plan channel. As many of you have noticed, the Homebrew review has unfortunately taken a bit of a hiatus. Scheduling has been ridiculous, trying to get everything figured out between my work schedule and everything else. And since Hake's place with a specific group of people, and we are dealing with 5 different countries currently, it's difficult to get those schedules to line up. So we have been focusing mostly on the Chaos Plan, getting all of that built up. And as such, the Homebrew Review podcast channel has become kind of ridiculous to navigate. So we're going to be creating our own channel with the Chaos Plan. It is going to be its own show up on iTunes very, very soon. So once that happens, it'll be easier to navigate, and we're going to hopefully start streaming here pretty soon. And even if we don't start streaming, we will also have these audios up on YouTube to make it easier to listen to. And those will be organized by month. So the month in game, you can just go to the playlist, play that whole month all the way through, and then move on to the next one once we get to that point. The website also currently is organized in kind of a regular timeline, and each character has their own adventure log within the website itself, the character sheet that we have online. You can scroll down to the bottom, find the adventuring log, and you can find the specific episodes that character appeared in, and get a full breakdown of what they did and links to those episodes. So that's kind of what's coming up with that.
I definitely think if anyone is looking to really follow along sort of canonically with particular characters or the entire sort of scheme and thing that is going on with the Chaos Plan, get those sort of story moments that are happening behind the scenes that Bob and I guess myself are working towards a little bit. I've got some secret insights into the overarching world, and I'm planning on using those more often.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be a dark and twisty place, and a couple of instances are going to be less than sunshiny, but it's all going to have an amazing end to it. We're working kind of slowly because, we got so many people, so many games all working together. Like, realistically, I don't think our characters have been adventuring for a full month in world yet. I think we're still in like a number of weeks as far as the podcast is concerned, and we've been doing it for several months now. So
yeah, so this is going to take probably 40 years to get to the conclusion.
At least. I figure you could all retire from podcasting when you hit 70 to 75. Roughly is when we'll kind of start phasing out characters.
Yeah. On to the next character.
Yeah, exactly. And there is one last thing, speaking of canonically following the episodes, there is an overall adventure log on the website that you can find that you can literally go through, and it'll say, the first of planting, this character, and it'll put them in order, because the introductions kind of jump in there, and time gets all timey-wimey, whatever the heck. It gets pretty messed up if you aren't too careful. So that is also up there on the website. Please check it out. Another thing I didn't have in the outline, so surprise, Braydon, we have been doing a massive overhaul of our website. It has been crazy redoing of pages, reorganizing, adding, subtracting, going from there. And we are building basically a campaign guide and a setting guide online. So everybody eventually will be able to have access to that. If you want early access to it, join our Patreon and you can get in on that. I have a GM-only section that we're currently working on that like Braydon and Mike and Vergil and eventually Micah and whoever else wants to run games will be able to get into, find all the overarching secrets of the world and the idea, and add their own material in to really help create the world as we're creating it. Eventually, hopefully in the near future, we're going to do a Kickstarter and get a real book going. I think that'll be so much fun. And especially since you've got a couple of projects and ideas going on with this, it could end up getting pretty crazy with what all's going to be on there.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I definitely suggest anyone listening now who isn't a patron, you can get into these games and you get to essentially help shape the world, like be a major part in shaping this world that is eventually going to be a paperback or digital copy version that ends up being this campaign guide. So
yeah,
that is an awesome thing to get in there for.
Yeah, exactly. And $5 isn't that much. That's a buck of Starbucks, or a cup of Starbucks coffee, pretty much anymore. That's one drink. You give up one drink a month and you can get in on a D&D game as often as we have them. We're going into the winter season, which really slows down for me work-wise. So when my work slows down, I'm able to DM almost constantly once things slow down. So we'll be able to do a whole lot more games. About 9 months out of the year, we could do almost solid games. It's just the 3 summer months that get kind of crazy.
Yes, as you are snowed into your house with the complete freeze that happens in Nebraska.
Exactly. Hey, but it's better than, having to worry about drop bears killing you when you walk out, of your house every day.
Yeah, that's it. We'll be coming into summer when you're in winter, so I'm hoping you have the editing skills to edit out the sound of dripping sweat coming off my body as I'm playing.
Oh my god. Yeah, just like all the coughing we've been doing and all that other kind of happy stuff. I have had more summer colds and you guys have been sick so much. It's crazy how much coughing we've cut out of the podcast this summer. Oh man. And then one more thing before we move on to the next topic. With the website, new characters that join in and whatnot, as well as the NPCs that you guys create as Patreon members, the locations you create on Patreon, will have full listings within the website. So I know like Mike has come up with an inn that he always used called Everstone, I believe. And that inn is going to have a full menu, a list of who's there, what it looks like on the inside, maps and all that kind of stuff as things come up. So even if you don't join the show as a player and you just join for $1 on our Patreon, the place that you end up submitting or giving the idea for either a faction, a person, a location, whatever, it will be fully fleshed out and up there on the website with your credit. You credited as the author of this deal. So immortalize yourself on our website and eventually in our book by joining the Patreon.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll go ahead then and move on to the next big podcast announcement, which I think is really going to be something that I've wanted to do for a while. We just haven't had the ability to, one, financially, and two, because merch is it's a ridiculous number of items you have to order at once in order to get physical merch, and pay on demand just isn't worth doing it. So we finally got enough merch together and all sorts of cool little items and projects that we're going to now start doing monthly giveaways. So the first podcast of the month, whether that's on the 1st or whether that's on the 7th or the 8th, whatever the first podcast is of the month, within the Chaos Clan, we will be doing a giveaway. There will be a question that you will have to answer somewhere on the website. You could find the answer to somewhere within one of the episodes. It could be general D&D lore. It could be in a homebrew book, like something that Kobold Press put out. We're not going to hide anything behind a paywall. So if it's a free document, we're going to definitely use information out of it, but we're not going to make you pay for anything in order to answer the question. So if we bring something up, it'll be free for everybody. But once you know the answer to those, you can send your answers to our email address or my email address, dmbob@theadventuringguild.com. You send all those answers in, and then one winner will be randomly drawn from the correct answers on the next first month's podcast. So the next time we announce a question, the winner will be announced, and it'll also be on our Facebook and Twitter and all those kind of happy fun places as well. So once that happens, we will send out your product as quickly as possible, and the next person can send in their stuff and go from there. We are going to limit prizes. You can only win once every 6 months. But other than that, that's the only thing that we're going to do.
Damn it. I was like, I've got this in the bag. I can win 12 prizes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking is, in the beginning, we're not going to have a draw, but as we get going, more people will. So I'm going to limit it to once every 6 months just to make it fair for everybody, because it could end up being that just the Patreon members, put it in 1 month, and that's kind of a limited audience.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to be announcing that the new question and whoever the winner is on the first podcast of the month in the Chaos Plan. So, Homebrew Review won't have it. This podcast, A Long Rest, which is part of Homebrew Review, won't have it. It will be on the Chaos Plan. And eventually we'll do it while we're streaming. So, once we get streaming started and all that kind of happy fun stuff, which I'll mention later on, we'll announce it live and do all that kind of stuff. This next bit is a little bit personal. I wanted to talk about kind of my inspiration for things and where things are going and kind of flesh it out from there. So, Braydon, what would be some real-world, global impacting problems that you can think of in the world? Things that are, on a global level, tough things that we have to, as a world, come together to try and fix and solve.
Oh, man. That is on the spot. I would say homelessness is getting up there in Australia, not necessarily around where I live, but I've seen a ton of homeless people around, and it's seemingly growing, unemployment and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Abuse and mental health, I think, it's not uncommon for me to meet someone and then become friends with them and learn that they've suffered abuse or have experienced something that's led to them developing mental health issues around that event. And I don't know, this is really tough, Bob.
Yeah, no, but those are both very good answers, and you are 100% correct. It is really tough. So, Braydon, what are we going to do right now to solve it? What is something that we can do this second to solve it?
Well, we can donate a little bit of our income to foundations and charities that help support people affected by these things.
Exactly. That is an amazing thing that we can all do. And it's a simple thing, and if everybody donated even $1, everybody on the earth donated $1 to these kind of charities, we wouldn't have issues. But a lot of people don't. Why I'm bringing us down on this topic is because within the podcast, we are trying to partially raise awareness of some of these kind of issues. It hasn't really hit yet. We're just starting. There's an episode coming up, Braydon, you can attest to this. It is really freaking sad. And there's some of these kind of issues within it. Within the Chaos Plan, part of the reason why everything is randomized is because our world is randomized. And there are real world problems that we could be solving. However, everything keeps getting in the way. The worst luck. Tough decisions have to be made. So a lot of these real world problems are a donation issue. People, aren't donating money or don't have money to donate, as well as an awareness issue. There's a lot of people that don't get that it's as big of a problem as it is. But what I'm getting to is the Chaos Plan, Arcadia. These issues exist in this fantasy world, and we are bringing them to life in the D&D setting. So we are tackling real-world problems within the game. Within that GM section, you've seen it, and then you were actually part of the episode that this took place, but there are basically fossil fuel issues going on, where there is an energy source that is being consumed at an exponential rate, more than it can be provided for. And so that energy has to come from somewhere. We've seen it before, that there is xenophobia and racism and that kind of stuff within the world of Arcadia. The slums and whatnot of Port City down by the docks are full of non-human, more monstrous races like goblins, like beast folk, like orcs, like those kind of monstrous races. But there are people within those, like was seen with the there was a goblin magic user within the Cauldron area that disappeared from the world, and they were a genius and extremely bright. So despite the fact that they were a monstrous race, they were very intelligent, very going somewhere in this world. And so some of those issues are kind of, I don't want to say we're satiring on them, but a little bit. We're bringing them to life in a fantasy world so that people can maybe think about them more in our world. I like doing that kind of things with games. So this is part of this ramble has been brought to you by Bob's inspiration. So, I identify myself as a druid. Technically, I am not yet at that rank within OBOD, but part of being a druid is to promote change and to promote ideas within the world. Within the Bard thing is storytelling. And storytelling, I believe, is a way that we could really raise awareness. But nobody wants to just sit and listen to a story. Except for me, who is obsessed with audiobooks and literally listens to hours of audiobooks a week. But I like interactive stories. And I think if we can get more people into these kind of stories, making these kind of tough decisions on, well, what are we going to do with this energy source that we can no longer use because of the cost? Do we find a new energy source? Do we find a new fuel? Do we find, which are two different things, the type of energy and the fuel that is consumed? Do we find another workaround? Do we abandon it altogether? That kind of a thing. We're raising awareness that way. So I think that that's something that we can incorporate into games a little bit more. I mean, have you really noticed that that's what we've been doing in the games?
I would say yes, honestly. It's definitely been in my mind when we're playing through it. I'm like, I see what the idea behind this is. I have just kind of gotten that. And I should probably take a note out of Dandy's playbook and go and give all of my income to some person down at the docks.
Exactly, and that's kind of the fun thing, is you're role-playing a character that has zero consequences on the real world if you just kicked this bum and walked away. But you don't, because you're a good person. Not just your character, but you as a person are a good person and wouldn't do that. And I think that shines through a little bit with the rest of the playing that we're doing. Because like you said, Danderbin is an excellent example. Yes, he has an alter ego now that he does that. Cornelius Schmackaroo. But, I think we all need to be a little bit more like Cornelius anymore, But yeah, that's kind of a lot of the inspiration behind it. And those kind of themes are going to start popping up more and more in the game, that you can tie this back to a very legitimate and real problem in the world. And, the players everybody gets to work through that. So, that I think that's something that people might also enjoy. D&D on a more serious side, yes, you guys are still going to do crazy and ridiculous things like sell your soul for a penguin, Micah. But that's part of the fun. It's a fun game, and then there's still that serious underlying thing to it. And a lot of that inspiration has come up really recently, just this whole flash of things. With OBOD, you kind of do a... not giving away any group secrets or anything, but you kind of give a gift to the world. You do something to better the world in a way that is uniquely yours. Some people write poetry about environmentalism. Some people go out there and are the front lines of policy change and that kind of stuff. And I like the idea of just putting it forward in a way that people will actually want to listen to and may not realize that's what they're listening to right away. But that those underlying things are there. Stories are fun. People like stories, especially if they can take part. Once again, if anybody wants to join the Patreon and join in on this game, that would be a fun thing that you could do. And knowing that there's these underlying issues can really help shape what you do as a character. Because if your character is used to having limitless, we'll just say limitless magic to do whatever you want with this fantastical world, and all of a sudden magic starts doing bad things, well, what do? Do you get rid of magic? Do you find a way to recharge magic faster? There's all sorts of things that can be done to make an awareness of real-world problems and play through it in a role-play type setting. Heck, that's why it's used in a lot of therapy. Role-play therapy is a big thing with mental illness and with anxiety, and a good friend of mine, actually, that was part of the reason why he was able to transition, not a big part, but it was a part of being able to transition from female to male was by role-playing male characters, being confident as a male person, in game, and gaining confidence that way in real, quote-unquote, real-world type situations. So that's that little blurb of stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of a lot of what we're going towards and what you're going to see a lot more of in the Chaos Plan. Another thing, I just want to say it here before we get too much further in. Braydon, my wonderful, wonderful co-host, has started a podcast, and it is freaking amazing. Braydon, plug your podcast, please.
Oh, well, if you enjoy things that are creepy and spooky, myself and my girlfriend do a paranormal comedy podcast that isn't really too serious whatsoever, called You, Me, and a Poltergeist. You can find us on any good podcatcher. We are on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all of them. And you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at You, Me, and a Poltergeist.
And with titles like Pound the Poop Deck and Horny Guardian Angel, how can you not watch that or listen to that? I mean, it is a ton of fun. So please, guys, if you want a fun paranormal podcast to listen to and you enjoy hearing the dulcet tones of our friend from down under, definitely check out that podcast. They have a Patreon too, so support them too. If you're giving us money, Patreon-wise, just go ahead and give them some too. It's worth it. Especially because you can become a dark magician. If you like Yu-Gi-Oh! References, go there. The Shadow Realm is all over that podcast.
Believe it or not, my girlfriend Belinda really enjoys Yu-Gi-Oh! And we play it semi-regularly. It came from a joke within the podcast of Dark Magician, and then we're like, hey, let's play some Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's just kind of taken from there, and we've become secretly obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh! So you're hearing it here first.
That is fantastic. Vergil, I know you're listening. Well, not currently live, but you will listen to this in the future. Future Vergil. Check that out, because they like Yu-Gi-Oh! and you like Yu-Gi-Oh! So you're going to have like an online Yu-Gi-Oh! tournament or something.
Oh, yes. Let's duel.
So where is the Shadow Realm? New Zealand? Oh, sorry. Sorry, we love Lydia.
I think it's Tasmania, actually.
Tasmania! Yes, fantastic.
It even has mania in the title.
Oh, that is fantastic. All right, speaking of fun live streaming game type things, we have some new characters that joined the show during the charity stream. These characters may come up in the Chaos Plan later on. Currently, they are in the future, 53 days from, I think, the planting 23rd. So I'll figure that out and edit it in super monotone right here.
6th of Tending.
So that's the day that they're coming back. And they will be at level 5 joining, and they are playing themselves. Basically what happened. Overview, listen to the whole thing when I get it up. Video editing is hard. But they came to the D&D room, this special room we used to play D&D in locally. And we were going to do a charity game there. Big surprise. However, all they found was an empty room in my smoking pile of D&D books. They noticed I had an elaborate map all drawn out, which they actually drew out with random rolls. And when they looked at the map, they noticed it glowed. Thinking I had some super amazing glow-in-the-dark map swag, they all looked in closer to the map to see it, and got sucked into D&D. And they found themselves in the Shadowed Cleft. So what we did for that is everybody played the Adventurer class. They all used the background from another world, but they had their own little modifications to it. And they all played humans, though there were a ton of different variants for that as well. So that's kind of what they did. You'll have to listen to the show. It was a ton of fun. And despite that giant map they did, we only moved 8 squares in 4 hours. 8 squares. But it was still a ton of fun. A lot of crazy stuff happened. They took it really well. I think in my journal notes thing that I did for my character, I ended up falling into a ball and crying for a while. But they handled it really, really well. They all assumed the first skeleton they found was me, and that's real. That's not make-believe. I'm the most accident-prone guy you will ever meet. So they thought that was with good cause. So listen to that. They will be joining eventually. Those characters were Mike, Micah, Will, Tiana, and Dave. You have heard all of them on the Chaos Plan except for Tiana, but she is joining us as Tiana, so that's totally awesome, and hopefully we can get her into other games here pretty soon.
I swear I didn't just fart. It was the dog behind me.
Oh my god, I'm leaving that in there. Fantastic.
I was just like, this is the worst timing, of course.
That is fantastic. It happens. All right. So speaking of streaming in the charity game, we're going to be streaming hopefully very, very soon. We've made that promise before, and once again, as can be said of all things, it never goes as planned. The Chaos Plan! So, we're going to start streaming hopefully very, very soon. The summer's gotten crazy with my work schedule and not having employees and all sorts of crazy stuff. So we will hopefully, now that things are slowing down, start streaming. With any luck, we will have a regular type game going with that. And there's going to be some awesome opportunities to mess with the players, the characters, the DM, everybody in that stream. So there's going to be some fun stuff you can do, and there's also going to always be a link for Extra Life. It's an amazing charity, helps kids, helps the local children's hospitals. You know, it's a fantastic charity, and so we're going to always have a button for that. So even if we're not running a charity game and you feel like being generous, you just got paid, you found $1 in your pocket, you know, donate to the cause and help us out. It's a fantastic thing, and you'll get a shout out on air and get to mess with the players in one way or another, and me, but I'm going to push that you mess with the players because that's always more fun for me.
Note to self, mess with Bob on stream.
Yes, exactly. All right, and then last but not least, we have an amazing compendium coming up. Braydon created the Scroll of Strange Races and the Scroll of Strange Races 2, and to stick with those long titles and fun plays on words, we're going with the Compendium of Curious Subclasses. We have got a couple of amazing things that are coming out, including Braydon. I know you've created a couple of different things for the Compendium. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
I have created a wizard school, I suppose it's called. The archetype for the wizard of Golemancy. So the School of Golemancy, which focuses on creating golems and construct creatures. So you can expend a spell slot semi-permanently to instill this being with magical life, and you end up actually creating the golem a lot quicker than you would via the Tome of Golems, I believe you can get from... is in the Dungeon Master Guide, but you get from adventuring. But you create them a little more simply than that, so your focus of magic is put completely into making these golems. So the class, subclass pretty much revolves around you and your golem and kind of building teamwork together.
Yeah, we're going to have a ton of different ones. We're going to have at least 2 classes or 2 subclasses for each major class. We're going to have some of them I'll just read off really quick. We've got College of the Musician Bard, Oath of Craft Paladin, Oath of Fervor Paladin, Patron of the Fairy Courts, a fighter who is a patron's champion, Monk Way of Balance, Barbarian Path of the Wild, Oath of the Wild Hunt Paladin. Those are the ones that we've got so far. How we're going to do everything is we're going to, after collecting all of them that everybody wants to make, we are going to vote on which ones are going to get in. The ones that don't get in on the actual compendium will be available for download on DMS Guild. So whoever created them are going to put them up, and you'll still be able to get them even if they don't make it. So we're about a third of the way done with the document as far as getting subclasses figured out. Our goal is to have it out right about the first of the year. So we're going to start commissioning artwork here as soon as we figure out which ones are for sure going to be there. And then we're just going to keep doing that. So if you would like to get in on this compendium, be sure to join the Patreon. It is a guild project, so you have to be a Patreon member in order to take part in this.
At what tier does the person have to join to be able to submit their own ideas into this wacky compendium?
Yeah, just $1. All you have to do is just be a member of the guild. Pay $1 a month and you're an official guild member.
$1 and you could be immortalized in Dungeon Masters Guild Hall of Fame forever.
Exactly, and this isn't going to be the only one that we do. This is just kind of a beginning because we love Homebrew and keep talking about, oh my god, it would be so cool if a monk could do this. Or, holy crap, I had the idea of a barbarian being able to do this. And it's like, well, shoot, we'll put it down on paper and give it to other people. We're not the only ones with these ideas. So, yeah, that's kind of what's going to come your guys' way. Hopefully by about the first of the year. We'll see how long it takes to get artwork commissioned and whatnot. That's why we're starting now. Give a good 3 months to get everything kind of done and ready. And then we will go from there. There's also going to be feats in there. There's going to be some homebrew items. There's going to be some mechanics, some mechanic-type rules. There's going to be all sorts of crazy fun stuff included in it. But it is mainly going to be about the subclasses. And then after the first of the year, we will announce the 2020 Guild project. There's a couple of things floating around in the works, and we will figure out what those are and let you guys know. So if you want to know more about us, go to theadventuringguild.com. We are on Facebook at Guild Adventure, and we're on Twitter at Guild Adventure, or Adventure Guild, one of those. You can find us all over the place. Please do. Listen to the podcast. Be looking forward to those split channels. We'll announce where it's at. And, when you get done with that, listen to You, Me, and a Poltergeist, and Pounding the Poop Deck, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And SpongeBob, and all those wonderful things. And then support them on Patreon so they can go find ghosts and drag ghosts in for interviews.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm a scaredy cat, so this is going to be horrible. I picked the wrong kind of podcast to get into, I suppose.
Exactly. All right. Any last words you got, Braydon?
I was going to say just something really weird, like I don't know, but no, I won't do that. Thanks, everyone. And I'm the strangest person. Get amongst the project and donate to the Patreon and get in on the projects that are happening on the Adventuring Guild. You will not be disappointed.
All right. And in stealing one from You, Me, and a Poltergeist, thank you for joining us for your weekly chat into the D&D...
I was going to say crap, but
crap. Thank you for joining us for your for a weekly chat about D&D crap. So, oh my god, thank you, Braydon. Thank you guys.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, thank you guys very much for joining us for this crazy version. I know we didn't really do anything else with the Feywild Inn. Listen to the Chaos Plan. Tell our people to go to the Tangle and you'll hear more about it. So thank you, Braydon, for joining me on this long rest. Go ahead, and where can they find you?
Braydon 5 Ashborough, IDON number 5 ASH on Instagram. You mean a poltergeist, YOUME poltergeist. And a poltergeist. I was like, I'm going to try and spell that fun. You can also find me on the DMs Guild at B5 Homebrews. Type in B5 and you can find all of the stuff that we have done there for pay what you want. Get it for free today.
All right. Thank you guys very much, and we will see you next time on the next episode of A Long Rest.